President Obama ordered any kind of surveillance of the president, of the president-elect.
We don't know who sent the taskings. If the taskings were changed into what went into these intelligence reports, but we're going to try to find that out.
Chairman, was the president personally involved?
Permission to put out this information today. Did the Justice Department give you the okay to talk about this?
Justice Department doesn't have anything to do with this.
So how,
this is information.
Somebody.
This is information that was brought to me that I thought the president needed to know about incidental collection, where the president himself and others in the Trump transition team were clearly put into intelligence reports that ended up at this White House and across a whole bunch of other agencies. And I thought it was important for the president to know this. That's why I briefed the speaker this morning, and I came down here as soon as I could.
Hold on. How many people are you seeing in these reports, and do any of them currently work at the White House for Mr. Trump?
Yeah, well, I don't want to get into the specifics of it because look, I was only able to see a few dozen, of which I think a lot of it does have foreign intelligence value. So let's not.
Reports or people?
There were dozens of reports that I was able to see that we're hoping that the NSA, FBI, CIA will provide, because I know they exist, so I want them to provide them to our committee so that all the members have an opportunity to see what I've been shown.
What did the president tell you after you briefed him about this?
I think the president is concerned, and he should be. I think he'd like to see these reports. And hopefully when we get them, hopefully they'll get them to the White House also.
Mr. Chairman, you talk about.
Do you believe the president appropriately used the word wiretapping? Was it used correctly in his tweets based on the information that you have seen?
Well, look, I think the wiretapping, if you use it generally, like the president has said, he clearly, used it differently than what I think a lot of people took it, which was, did Obama actually wiretap Trump Tower, which we know didn't happen. I think the president's been pretty clear on that.
But the physical act of wiretapping, do you see anything in the information?
No, and I said that on day 2 after.
Mr. Chairman, you spoke of.
Can you rule out the possibility that senior Obama administration officials were involved in this?
No, we cannot.
Mr. Chairman, you talk about.
Given that you have said there was a FISA warrant which would have been approved by a judge, are you concerned that essentially you're saying members of the Trump team were in contact with people who were the target of a counterintelligence or some form of investigation?
No, I think you'd be. No, this would be. I think you're reading too much into that. What this is normal intelligence reporting. It's just normal intelligence reporting. The question is should he himself or others, should they have been put into these reports? And I don't know the answer to that yet, but we're going to try to get to the bottom of it.
So your issue is the unmasking, not that there was this monitoring.
Well, there's 2 issues here. Okay, there's additional unmasking of names, which I think is totally inappropriate. But we have to get to I don't know how many names were unmasked, but I know there were additional unmaskings that occurred. And then you have the issue of the names that were put into these intelligence reports that we have to get to the bottom of, and this is why we sent the letter 2 weeks ago. We need a response to it.
Mr. Chairman, can I just clarify and ask 3 things? Are you suggesting that Mr. Trump's communications are in those reports, first? Second, are you saying that you're concerned enough that this would trigger a different, separate investigation? And third, why did you not discuss this with the ranking member before you came to the White House?
So yes, no, and I'm going to be meeting with Mr. Schiff at some point to talk about where we go with this investigation. But I had to brief the speaker first, and then I had to talk to the CIA director, the NSA director, and I'm waiting to talk to the FBI director because he still has not told us how he's going to get us this information. Then I went and talked to all of you, not you yourselves, but those of you who exist over at the Congress, and then I voted, and then I said I was coming here to brief the president, and I'll be glad to talk to others.
Just to clarify, Mr. Trump's communications, you believe, are in the reports that were acquired by FISA. You're concerned enough about it, but you're not calling for additional investigation.
Well, we are investigating it.
You just said no. You said no.
No, incidental, well, because we're already investigating. We're not opening a new investigation.
It's part of it. It has nothing to do with Russia, and you're folding this into your investigation.
Well, because it has to deal with the unmasking of names and whether or not all this was gathered properly.
So, an ongoing investigation, you thought it was appropriate to come and talk to the president about it?
Just remember, We have had an ongoing investigation into Russia for a very, very long time in all of their activities. So, we have the scoping document of the Russian investigation, and we will continue to investigate anything and everything else that might be caught up in this, because clearly we are concerned about what ends up in intelligence products, why, and whether or not there was unmasking.
Mr. Chairman, to be clear,
I'm going to have to get back to the
was the
Capitol.
president unmasked,
Were in
Chairman?
fact monitored. Can you say what he was communicating about or who he was
No,
communicating with?
No, I can't get into that.
And you
I'm
also
sorry.
said that somebody brought you this information very recently. Can you tell us who brought you this information
Well,
and why they brought it?
I can tell you this, that we've been asking for people to come forward, and they came through the proper channels. They had the proper clearances, and I'm just going to leave it at that, because we have to protect people who came forward in the right manner and
Would you
got the
describe that
information.
person as
To be
an
clear
intelligent
here-
whistleblower, sir?
I'm not even going to say it's one person.
Do you doubt the
To be
testimony?
clear, you talk about this being collected incidentally, but you say it has nothing to do with Russia. Are you suggesting that these communications could have been collected incidentally as part of a criminal investigation, a criminal warrant?
No.
So how do you believe
No,
they were?
because I read what I was in the dozens of reports I was able to see. I was able to determine that it looks like it was legal collection, incidental collection, but then made it itself into intelligence reports. So it has to deal with FISA, and there's multiple number of FISA warrants that are out there, but there's nothing criminal at all involved. Hold on, I got to take one more question. I'm sorry.
Was it information that was looked at in real time, or was it information that was collected, held, stored, and then allowed to be looked at later?
It was fairly quickly from what I've seen, but we have to. Once we get the reports, then we can ask more questions of the agencies that produce the reports.
If it was legal collection,
collection,
what is it that you find inappropriate about it? And are you attempting to give the president political cover for his wiretapping claim?
Because the reason that we do this, and we have all these procedures in place, is to protect American citizens who are incidentally collected. And so there's certain thresholds that have to be met to make it into foreign intelligence products. If something else happened where it appears to me like there were things that maybe they didn't meet the minimum qualifications, I don't know, but there are things to me that don't reach the level of foreign intelligence value. And if that's the case, you have to ask yourself, why did those end up in reports?
But just to clarify, this is not intentional spying on Donald Trump or anybody in his
I have no idea. We won't know that.
Well, you said this is
incidental. We won't know that until we get to the bottom of did people ask for the unmasking of additional names within President-elect's transition team.
But you said legal and incidental. That doesn't sound like a proactive effort to spy.
I would refer you to, we had a similar issue with members of Congress that were being picked up in incidental collection a little over a year ago. We had to spend a full year working with the DNI on the proper notification for members of Congress to be notified, which comes through the Gang of Eight. And I would refer you to that because it looks very, very similar to that. But would be the best way I can describe it.
Mr. Who has access to those names? Specifically unmasked. Was his name unmasked?
I'm not going to get into that, but I have every indication that it's clear who's in these reports. I'm going to have to get going, guys. I have to get in the vote.
Who would have access to those unmasked names? Just to be clear, would it just be people within the intelligence community, or?
We don't know that yet. So we don't know who did the unmasking and then who it would have been disseminated to.
Right.
All right, thank you, guys.
Hi, this is Sharon reporting from Bad News Media. Thanks for subscribing to our channel and giving us a thumbs up. We really appreciate your support. Please feel free to leave us a comment and share this video with your friends. Thank you.